It's not about falling down. It's about how fast you can get up after you have fallen down. That's where the magic is.
Discover what it takes to be a world-class entrepreneur.
No success story ever happened without any struggle at the beginning.
And how you can have it all from the greatest minds in business.
Why do you think people give up when business gets tough?
Welcome to the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. Here is your host, international award-winning entrepreneur and founder of Woman Entrepreneur, Erna Basson.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast show this morning. And today I have a very special guest in the audience, or on our show today. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've been wondering, all these people that write copyright for all the Facebook ads you've been seeing, well, I have the master of copywriting on our show today. Kate, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Erna. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I know with the time differences, it's always tricky to sort things out. So you are in the States and I'm in New Zealand. It's like literally like a day.
Yeah, totally different. I think you're kicking off your day. I'm wrapping up mine.
Exactly. So, Kate, for the people that's listening now, please give us a bit of background about you, what you do, why you do, and why you love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a brand messaging coach for female entrepreneurs, and I also work as a copywriter for multi-6 and 7-figure online experts. And I got into this field because writing has always been my jam. It's just been one of those things that's come easily to me. Like I never had to teach my dog how to fetch. He just does it. That's kind of how writing was for me. Yeah, it was great. And I went into school and studied journalism and realized that, there's this whole industry. Businesses need people who know how to write. So I went into marketing and took off on my own and started doing freelance copywriting and brand messaging for different organizations. And I absolutely adore it, especially in the online space, because if you think about it, when you're building a business and you're marketing yourself, everything comes down to your messaging and your content. Of
course.
Everything. So you've got to have that on lock. And if you don't, it can have huge repercussions for your brand. So to be able to help entrepreneurs, especially, be able to feel confident about how they sound online and how their audience engages with them is just awesome.
Yeah, and I think especially in 2018, where everyone's on social media, you just have to stand out from the bat. Right off the bat, you have to stand out with your copy, with your imagery, etc.
Exactly. It's so crowded. I mean, people see so many messages all day. If you think about your own social media behavior, how many ads do you see? I mean, it's hundreds. Crazy.
My feed is literally full of gurus trying to sell me something.
Exactly.
And gurus and wannabe gurus. That's
right.
That is how my feed is looking at the moment. But you know what? I think it's an exciting time in 2018 where anybody can become a millionaire and be successful. It just depends on what they are saying.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And that's the difference maker. When you see these brands that are trying to get off the ground and these gurus and wannabe gurus, the people who are standing out are the people who know how to communicate effectively with their audience. And they know how to blast through the noise. Exactly.
So my first question would be, in 2018, where social media ads is everything, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see people make with the ad copy on social media?
Oh man, I think the biggest mistake I see people make is they don't tell a story. So a lot of times people just throw out an ad and assume that people, want to download their ebook or hop on their webinar, and they go into sell right immediately. They sell. And people want to hear stories. If I don't know you and I'm seeing your ad and you're not telling me a story or why I should sign up and why this matters for me, if you can't make me relate to that in some way, I'm not signing up. I'm not clicking. I'm ignoring you, because there are so many ads out there. There's so many things that are selling. Like you said, people are selling to you all the time. And the difference maker in the ads that are really successful typically are ones that have some emotion, have some story, and really hit on values that people, hold in their business and their life, whatever niche you're in. You have to be able to resonate.
Of course. Totally agree. So it's not storytelling, it's story selling, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And then when it comes to copywriting, what are the 5 crucial things that any great copy must have?
Oh, that is a great question. First, it has to have knowledge of your audience. So I think so many people dive into just writing and they just write, and they write from their own perspective. I always tell my coaching students, as entrepreneurs, we tend to be a little selfish. We come from me, my services, my solutions. Here's why you should work with me. Here's why you should buy my product. And really great copy has an understanding of the audience and what they want to hear and what they need to hear in order to take that next step. So that first and foremost is the number one thing. I'd say the second most important thing is being clear and concise. If you can say it in a sentence, say it in a sentence. If you can say it in 2 words, say it in 2 words.
Yeah.
And I won't even expand on that because that'll ruin that whole point.
Exactly.
And then I think another one that people I see all the time kind of mix up is they really focus on features instead of benefits.
Yeah.
So we tend to describe, product features, course features, instead of actually selling the outcome that someone will experience or hitting on those pain points and selling the transformation.
Of course. Results sell.
Exactly. No one cares about the fact that the frying pan's nonstick. They care that it's going to make delicious dinners.
Exactly. And there's no cleaning at the end.
Right, exactly. Save them time, more time to hang out with your kids, less frustration. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah,
so
we could go sell a frying pan now.
Right, exactly. We could just hop off and do it right now.
Yeah,
so I think that's a big one, and that's one I see all the time that people just kind of skip over.
Yeah.
And then I'd say that this isn't so much a copy mistake, but when people are sitting down to write copy, they don't step away. So a lot of times when I see entrepreneurs, especially if they're not outsourcing their content and they're doing it all themselves, they sit and they write. And then they spend hours agonizing over this email or this ad, and they don't take a break. And if you just step away and come back to it, it's a huge difference maker.
I totally agree with you. I do that all the time, even with in normal working day, 45 minutes, I step away from it, even if it's just to go have water or coffee or whatever, stepping away from your work, it just brings clarity, especially when you're struggling with something. Exactly.
And you have a fresh perspective. It doesn't need to be done right then. And if it does, you need to adjust your schedule because you shouldn't be writing something and sending it out right immediately.
No.
And then the last one, are we on 5? I'm losing count. I could talk about copy all day long. I would say the last one is being clear. I think people like to be verbose sometimes, especially if you're not used to online writing. They like to use a lot of adjectives. I see people try to get sophisticated. They try to be funny. And what happens when we try a little too hard in our copy, we tend to sacrifice clarity. And so people get confused.
All right. So basically you need to be clear on what you're trying to achieve. So basically when you start writing copy, you need to say, okay, what is the goal with this copy? What is the aim and the goal for this copy? And then build around that. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the actual copy itself too. I don't recall exactly who put this out there, but I think they said right at a 4th grade level. You don't have to be this verbose. I mean, you're not writing an English paper. It's very different. And so you can keep it simple.
Exactly. So I mentioned earlier I had a call with a Facebook marketing guru last night. And this guy he's super smart, obviously. And this guy was talking these very robust words. And I'm like, listen, just hang on a second. I am totally lost because he started talking about it and then he went straight. So when you want to retarget those audiences, you just increase this engagement level. I'm like, dude, just hang on a second. Just let's start from the basics. Because I think the biggest thing is that you know your lingo, but your clients don't know the lingo. So you need to downplay it to engage with your clients' lingo, understanding what they are talking about and how they are speaking. So
absolutely,
that is super important, because I always say that, when I speak, I always say make sure that you understand how your customers are speaking. So for instance, if we're selling hair extensions to a 16-year-old, it will be a different ad copy to what we'll have for a 35-year-old.
absolutely.
It will be all about hashtag selfie, do it for the gram type of thing. But for the 35-year-old, it will be something like, get your dream date with looking beautiful in these amazing extensions, blah, blah, blah. That is
right.
That's a difference in the ad copy with that. Now tell us, what makes the difference between $1,000 sales copy and $1 million sales copy?
Ooh, $1 million, $1 million. Sorry?
So basically, what is the difference between an ad copy that will sell $1,000 and ad copy that will sell $1 million worth of product or service or whatever it's been done for?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So $1 million sales copy, whether it's an ad, a sales letter, whatever, is copy that makes someone feel something. And I mean, really, truly hits home an emotion. Buying is an emotional decision.
Of course.
We know this.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, when I buy shoes, it's still an emotional decision. I'm like,
course.
do I need these?
Exactly. And when the half price is like, I need them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're like visualizing all your nights out in these like great shoes, right? It's emotional.
And then you come across like, oh, I need a bag for these shoes. Like, we're going to find
Exactly. And it's the same thing, really no matter what you're selling, people have wants, they have needs, they have desires. They also have reasons that they are not buying. And it is your job to overcome those reasons. And in order to do that, you have to make someone see and feel what they're losing if they don't take action.
Exactly.
And so I think when you're looking at, copy that converts really, really well, there are 1,000 things that go into that. But the most important thing is it resonates. And when you are resonating with someone, what you're doing is you're making them feel something, and you're making them feel it so much that they are going to stop what they're doing and take whatever action you're asking them to take.
Yeah. Because I think that is what happens if they don't take it. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people are selling, in terms of, you have two choices today. Either, take action, or don't take action and remain the same. Basically, I think a lot of those sales gurus, because I've seen it, because obviously I watch a lot of webinars to see how they are selling, what strategies are they using, what emotions are they pushing. And that is like one of the biggest things that everyone says at the end. So you have two choices today. I think that's where they break that barrier of, the call to action and showing what's going to happen if they don't take action, So, yeah, so I totally agree with that, this listed. And
yeah, and it's just,
sorry, go for it.
I was going to say, even if you're just looking at something as simple as like an ad at the start of a funnel, right? I'm scrolling through Facebook, and if I'm clicking on something, it's because you've gotten in my head. I mean, that's an irreplaceable feeling, and that's a lot of power as a marketer. And as a brand owner, is to be able to, and I don't want to, like, this isn't fear mongering or anything, but to be able to get into someone, if you're telling me that you can help me with something I'm actually struggling with, or, that you can save me 50% on shoes I need for this outfit, that's something, that means something to me, versus being like, oh, we've got cute shoes. Like, okay, that doesn't make me feel anything.
Exactly. And as a copywriter expert, do you find yourself literally analyzing every copy you see on Facebook ads or Instagram or landing?
Oh my gosh. All the time. My sister actually always makes fun of me, because she's like, you're always correcting grammar and editing things, like even when we're just chatting or texting. I'm like, I'm sorry, I try to turn it off, but it's hard for me.
Yeah, because you're so passionate about it. And I mean, that is actually a good way on how you can get business, is when you actually see these gurus putting out their messages, and you can actually tell them, hey, you could have done this a bit better, tweak it over here, or whatever, or hire me as your copywriter expert. That's
right. Exactly.
That's brilliant. And next question is, what can people do to make their ads stand out? Because we know there's a lot of noise happening literally on social media that will drive more sales and more conversions to their ad or a landing page or product or whatever they are promoting.
I would say if you can reframe your ad in terms of what problem you're solving, that changes a lot.
Yeah.
If you can be really clear about what problem it is you are offering to solve, and you can spell out that problem or what dream and desire it is that you're fulfilling for someone, that makes a huge difference. And so often we just think about what it is we're offering. So we get so stuck on, I've got this great ebook of sales strategies and you need it because like you need help with sales, but why? That's the question I always ask. Why does someone need this? What are you actually trying to help them achieve? What feelings are they not going to feel anymore because they have this ebook, they have this sales strategy?
Exactly. And I think you need to, because people don't think for themselves. You need to show everything to people. Because I always say that don't expect people to know 50% off of $100 is 50. You need to tell them you are saving $50. What if extra $50? You can go and like buy cute lashes or something from Lily Lashes or to complete that perfect outfit. So yeah, I think spelling it out for people is super, super important because people got lazy to think with social media, and we are. I think the biggest thing at the moment is that we as people are receiving everything, and we don't have to look and work for anything anymore. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's right there in front of you, and there's millions of options. I have so many options.
Exactly.
And I think that's something that people really struggle with. Is I hear this all the time, especially with the female entrepreneurs I coach, is they say, well, so-and-so is doing this as well. Or there's, a bunch of business coaches. And I always tell them, how many marketing coaches do you know? I spoke to you in a certain way. And that's the difference maker there, is you need to be able to speak to your people in a way that they say, wow, yeah, I feel that. I'm going to choose you because you've hit on what I'm going through.
Yeah. So when you are coaching your clients, what advice do you give them when they say, well, when they are actually, if they are fearing to go into the niche that they want to go into because there's a lot of competition? What do you say to those clients?
I tell them that people are going to work with them because of who they are. I first ask them to be honest with themselves, actually. I always say, be honest with yourself. Can you actually help someone in this niche? Because a lot of times what I find is people, especially I think in the female entrepreneur space, we all struggle with imposter syndrome. It happens. I've been there, where you're like, can I really do this? So-and-so is doing it and they're huge. There's this big brand. And so I always ask to say, okay, well, let me ask you this. Can you actually help someone? And if they say yes, which 100%, I've never had someone say no, because they can. They're building a business around this. I tell them that someone is going to work with them because of who they are and their methods. So they're going to resonate with people because of their vibe, their tone, and it's their job to translate that to their audience in a way that makes them take action.
No, 100% agree with you. And when it comes to, obviously it's important to have ad copy correspond with imagery, whether it's a photo or video. What advice do you give your clients in terms of how to choose photos? Because sometimes I see the craziest photos that goes with consultation company copy. I'm like, how did you get to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So as someone who is not a designer, this was actually something that I had to really study, because the words were great, and then I'd come into creating images and I'm like, what do people want? I always tell people to make sure it's eye-catching. So if you're previewing it on, your news feed and it's lost in the millions of things, then, you got to redo that. You got to make sure it stands out, but also it should really be relevant. My personal opinion is that it should really correspond with what you're offering. I know there's people who offer a bunch of really crazy photos to get people to click through. If you're doing that, your landing page better sell the heck out of what you want someone to do, so you're getting the right people to it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And what type of structure makes for good copywriting? Obviously, there's a start, a middle, and an end, and there's science behind doing great copy that actually converts. Can you elaborate a bit more about that process and how people can structure copywriting a bit better?
Yeah, so I think it really depends on what you are offering and what you're writing. So a sales page is going to look a little different than an opt-in page is going to look a little
Yeah,
different than an
yeah.
ad. But I like to tell people to lead with the problem. So like, what is the situation?
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling a story, lead with where you were. What does this look like? Set up the rest of the piece. If it's, a sales letter, set that up. That's an intro. It's strong. It needs to hook someone in, especially online in 2018. If you don't hook someone within the first nanosecond, you're done.
So
our attention is just all over the place. So it needs a really strong hook. That goes for your headline. That goes for your intro. And then it also needs to build on what's going on. What are they experiencing? One of my all-time favorite things to do is actually just list out the pain points. I always say, stop me if this sounds familiar. And I hit pain point A, B, C, and D because someone's reading along and it's like a conversation. They're nodding, they're saying, yes, okay, this is me. And they want to go on and read more. And I think also a super strong call to action. It's not enough to say, click here. And you've really got to entice people to take action. You've got to set up what's going to happen when they take action. And a lot of times you can lead into, if you're ready to insert whatever they're going to achieve or accomplish, get started here, that sort of thing, so that you're building on the anticipation. You're making it really easy for them to say, yes, I'm ready to do that.
Yeah, so basically, so what I'm getting is that you need to be super relatable. You need to hit that, you need to build rapport like in the first 3 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are the 3 worst things that you have ever seen with ad copy? And like, what is the 3 worst things that people can do with their ad copy? Will definitely not work.
Oh man.
I know there must be tons.
There's so many. One that I see a lot, and the ad doesn't even get out there this way. I will say, familiarize yourself if you're advertising, especially on Facebook, which I feel like everyone's on Facebook advertising. It's a great platform. Familiarize yourself with the rules and regulations. I've seen so many ads get disapproved and it creates more work. You have to go back through the guidelines and see why it got disapproved. So, Facebook ads can be tricky. It can be hard to learn, but if you will save yourself so much time, so much effort, so much creative angst, if you just read the policies, know what you're allowed to say, know what you're not allowed to say. So that's a big one. Other times I've seen ads that have nothing to do with the landing page that I've gone to. Wow. That's a big one as well. So making sure that you're really, syncing up across both your ads, your landing pages.
You need to be consistent with everything that you are saying on a Facebook ad, an Instagram ad, or a landing page, a squeeze page, your website.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, consistency is key, and your messaging should be the same. So I shouldn't have to, hit the back button and go check out that ad to make sure, is this really the webinar?
Is this what I clicked on?
Right. Exactly. And then something that it's more of a personal preference for me, but it drives me bonkers is really disrespectful retargeting. So when I think there's a really good way to retarget. I've seen it done really well when you show your ad to someone who's been on your site or has opened an email. There's a really delicate way to do that, to be like, hey, I noticed that you checked out this page and you haven't bought yet, and then give some additional
discount.
An insight and like get them back to the page. That can be so effective. But when it lacks that personal touch, it's just really uncomfortable. Then I feel like people feel followed around the web, and I hate that feeling.
No, totally. Because I was actually, it's a funny story that you're talking about retargeting, because I was on a website, checking out a landing page, get this ebook or whatever. It was one of those. And as soon as I went onto Instagram stories, it was a woman I was looking at. This woman's like, hey, I noticed you were on my page, but didn't grab the free ebook. Don't worry, I'll send it for you. Just swipe up to get it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is such great retargeting, because it was like she was speaking to me personally. You know?
Right.
I noticed you didn't take it.
Right. Exactly. I love that type of retargeting. I think that is so effective. Where it falls short is, when it's just very generic. I guess that's where I'm getting is generic retargeting, or and this isn't necessarily a copy issue, but more of an overall marketing issue. When the retargeting, like, you don't turn it off. So, I bought the dress and I keep seeing the dress and I'm like, look, I bought this. Like, exactly. It's already on. I've got it.
With my new shoes.
Right. Exactly.
And if you could give entrepreneurs the very last tip on copywriting, just one, what would that be?
I would say that copywriting is something that should be studied and learned. I think it's so crucial. Even if you outsource it, which I know a lot of great entrepreneurs do, and I'm glad, because that's how I got my start in the industry. It was as a freelance copywriter, so thank you for outsourcing. But just as a business owner, I think it really helps with your confidence if you can whip out something quickly. If it's an email, you're posting on social, you're responding to someone, to feel good about how you communicate with your audience, which is essentially what copywriting is very powerful, and it's the difference maker, I think, for a lot of entrepreneurs. That being said, writing is one of those things that we all do. We all wrote English papers in school. We all have Microsoft Word. And so it's one of those things that I think that sometimes people think it just comes naturally, but it's a learned skill. And so I would encourage people to really invest the time in learning it, at least learning a little bit about it and feeling comfortable enough to operate through that, because there's psychology behind it. There's science. And so to be able to say, yes, this is something that is going to make someone take an action or engage, or just even respond to my Instagram comment is really powerful.
Yeah. And where can people learn about copywriting? What is the best platform, or what do you suggest to people that wants to learn the skill?
In order to learn it, there are, a dime a dozen platforms. They can come hang out with me for sure, and my free Facebook group. So I actually coach on copywriting and brand messaging. So they can come hang out with me in my free Facebook group, the Boss Squad. And we talk all about effective copywriting, effective messaging. We talk about how to outsource your copywriting. So if you're looking to hire a freelancer, what you need to keep in mind, how that works. We've got it all. So
that is my next question. Is, I know people are loving you at the moment, and they're already thinking like, I need you in my business. So where can people get hold of you? Websites, emails, Facebook groups, Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am online at CaitlinDramis.com. It's just my first name, last name. On Instagram, I'm Kate Dramis. Facebook, Kate Dramis. And then my free Facebook group is the Boss Squad with Kate. So the Boss Squad. And it's a group of awesome female entrepreneurs, super empowering. I love it. That's where I spend the most of my time. That's
and it's a free group. Anyone can join?
Anyone can join. So it is restricted to female entrepreneurs. Sorry, guys. But yes, anyone can join, come hang out, learn about brand messaging, and just make some awesome connections.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kate, for putting out the time and the effort to speak with us today. I am so excited to actually get this podcast live, because I know people will learn so much. I was writing so many notes on this podcast. It's crazy. So thank you so much for giving so much value to our listeners and just helping women succeed in business. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
It was. Thank you so much, Kate. And I wish you all the best for a great evening further. My day has just started, so unfortunately I can't go to sleep now. I've just woken up, so.
Thanks, Erna. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Kate. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast, the #1 success platform for female entrepreneurs. Visit our website, womanentrepreneur.co, for your daily motivation and business growth expert advice. Until next time, Play big, think big, and impress yourself.